Welcome to AI ConvoCast, where we bring you the latest in AI and tech innovation. Quick housekeeping. Check out the affiliate links in our description. Using them supports the show, and please don't forget to rate, review, and share if you like what you hear. Let's jump right in.
Today we will be covering Anthropic's release of Claude Opus 4.7, Microsoft's new Copilot Policy Settings API preview, reports that Microsoft is building proactive autonomous agents for Copilot, and Google bringing Gemini-powered AI voiceovers to Google Vids. Let's get into it. Anthropic dropped Claude Opus 4.7 on April 16th, continuing what has been a really impressive release cadence over the past several months. If you've been keeping track, Opus 4.5 came out in November 2025. Then 4.6 landed in February of this year, and now 4.7 just about 2 months later. That is a fast turnaround no matter how you slice it. The release was so closely watched that prediction markets were actively trading on the exact launch date. According to Crypto Briefing, over $132,000 in USDC was traded across contracts, with about $130,000 of that tied specifically to the April 16th date. When confirmation of the release broke, the April 16th contract surged to full certainty. Reporter Estefano Gomez at Crypto Briefing noted that, quote, "The April 16th contract surged to certainty as news broke, with a 29-point spike happening in a matter of minutes." If you recall, Opus 4.6 introduced some pretty meaningful enterprise features, including agent teams and PowerPoint integrations, so expectations are high for what 4.7 brings to the table. The release also comes at a time when Anthropic has been navigating some scrutiny around its more restricted Claude Mythos cybersecurity model. But the fact that the company is shipping at this pace suggests strong operational maturity and a clear intent to stay competitive against OpenAI's GPT 5.4 and Microsoft's in-house MAI models. It is good to see this kind of momentum from Anthropic. Now over to Microsoft, which had a couple of noteworthy developments this week. On April 15th, the company previewed a new Copilot Policy Settings API as part of its April 2026 extensibility update for Microsoft 365 Copilot. This might not sound like the most exciting announcement on the surface, but it is actually a pretty big deal for enterprise customers. Essentially, this API gives developers and IT administrators a single unified endpoint to manage Copilot policies across both Cloud Policy Service and Microsoft Intune. Before this, policy control was fragmented across different services, which made it harder for large organizations, especially those in regulated industries, to keep everything consistent and compliant. Now admins can programmatically read and update Copilot settings from one place. This update also came alongside Teams Meeting AI Insights APIs reaching general availability in Microsoft Graph version 1.0. The bigger picture here is that Microsoft is clearly investing in the governance layer around its AI products. As more companies deploy Copilot at scale, having centralized and programmable policy controls makes adoption much smoother, and it strengthens Microsoft's pitch to enterprise buyers who care deeply about compliance and control. It is the kind of infrastructure work that does not get a lot of headlines, but makes a real difference in how organizations actually use these tools day to day. The other Microsoft story this week is arguably more forward-looking. On April 14th, TechRadar reported that Microsoft is developing proactive autonomous agents inspired by something called OpenClaw. The idea is to move beyond the current model where Copilot mostly responds to what you ask it to do, and instead build agents that can act on their own within defined boundaries. Think of it as the difference between an assistant who answers your questions and one who proactively handles tasks for you throughout the day. The report suggests these agents could be role-specific, covering areas like sales, marketing, and accounting, and would be aimed squarely at enterprise customers. A key part of Microsoft's approach here is the emphasis on safety and access controls. The concept is to treat these AI agents like human employees within permission structures, meaning they would only have access to data and systems they are explicitly granted. This could eventually tie into what Microsoft is calling its E7 tier, which would bundle Microsoft 365, Copilot, and a new Agent 365 platform together. To give some context on how fast Copilot adoption is growing, Microsoft reportedly saw Copilot users increase 160% year over year, with daily active users up tenfold. None of this has been formally announced as a product launch, but the direction is clear, Microsoft wants to move from reactive chat assistants to always-on autonomous agents that live inside enterprise workflows, and they want to do it in a way that gives organizations real control over what those agents can and cannot do. And finally, Google has been quietly expanding Gemini's presence inside its Workspace suite. Starting April 13th, Google began rolling out new expressive AI voiceovers in Google Vids, its video creation tool within Workspace. These voiceovers are powered by Gemini 3.1 Flash Text-to-Speech, and the update adds support for 16 additional languages. The rollout applies to both rapid release and scheduled release Workspace domains, so most organizations should see it within the next couple of weeks. What is notable here is that Google is taking Gemini beyond chat and developer APIs and embedding it directly into media and content creation workflows. If your team uses Google Vids for internal training videos, marketing content, or company communications, you can now generate natural-sounding voiceovers in a wide range of languages without needing external tools or voice talent for every project. It is a practical and useful application of the technology that makes Gemini feel less like a standalone chatbot and more like an integrated layer across the tools people already use for work every day. Google is clearly pushing to position Gemini as an end-to-end enterprise assistant that shows up wherever you are creating content, and this is a solid step in that direction.
Thank you for listening to AI Convo Cast. Please don't forget to rate, review, and share if you like what you hear. Thanks and hope to see you again next time.